See you sucker soon on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Region Today. We're so happy that you're joining us today. I'm Ann Perla, the producer and host of this show, and we have a great lineup today. Well, I say that every week, I know, but I really mean it. We have a great lineup this week. We have cloggers on. If you've never seen cloggers dance, you're going to see them right here on the show. We're so happy to have the Hill Country Cloggers with us today. And then right after that, Reggie Harris, who is well known throughout the world and performer, and here at 8th Step will be performing, and also we'll be talking about their upcoming performances coming up at the 8th Step. And then we're going to be talking with Willie Dean. He's a sports figure, but he's also an author of children's books. So we're going to learn a little bit more about him and what he did after his professional basketball career. And then we're going to be talking with Valerie Rapson. She is with the Dudley Observatory now at Siena. We're going to be talking about the transit of Mercury. I'm so excited to learn more about that. I hope I can see Mercury out there, so I'm sure she'll tell us how I can. Probably go see a big telescope to do it. And then Concert for the Hungry is going to be on. Peter Jones comes on every year. They do such a wonderful job. Wait till you hear the number of meals that they put together. We're so excited to have them on. So that's our lineup for today. And I just want to go right over here, and I'm going to be talking with Audrey. And she is the spokesperson for the Hill Country Cloggers. What's a clogger?
A clogger is someone who dances with double taps on the toes and double taps on the heels of her leather shoes. Clogs are actually not involved.
Oh, because a clog is a lot different than what you're, yeah.
Yes, it doesn't make as much noise.
Yeah, it's a misnomer.
That's right. That's right.
But let's talk about how long you've been around.
Hill Country Cloggers started in 1988. Some of us in the organization have been dancing for as little as 2 years and some for 30.
Is this for anybody?
It's for anybody. It's for anybody. We have beginner classes that start every September. We practice in Brunswick and in Hoosick Falls.
Okay, and then you get your group together. And so I'm sure that if you get enough cloggers, you have different groups that you can put together if you have to.
Yes. Yes, we have, we have two performing groups. We have the competition team, which you will see today, and then we have the entire group. We dance for a variety of organizations, nursing homes, retirement communities, county fairs, state fairs.
I saw the list. Oh,
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. That's really great. So you're going to be performing today, and you're going to be performing 3 numbers. The first one is going to be the entire group. Is that correct?
The first one is going to be the entire group, and it is a traditional clogging song called Rocky Top.
Rocky Top Mountain, that one? Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Tennessee.
In Tennessee, right. And then after that, you're going to be having the competition group on,
Yes.
and we'll be talking about that right after that. And then you're going to wrap up the show with?
Rompin' Stompin'.
Okay, this sounds exciting. Yeah, I think so. Well, if I tap my foot over there, it won't bother you.
It won't bother us at all.
Okay, good.
It's much more fun when the audience gets involved.
Okay, good. You go, woo! Okay, good. All right, I'm going to let him take over then.
Which side I was on Rocky Top down in Tennessee Hills. Ain't no smog and smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bills. Once I had a man on Rocky Top, half a bear, the other half cat. He was wild as a mink, sweet as soda pop. I still dream about that. Well, I said, Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee, yeah. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Yeah. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Well, I said Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Yeah. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Great. Wonderful. See, we're going to go over here and talk a little bit because we're going to be bringing on the competition group. Well, first of all, before we go any further, would you show me your crinoline? Isn't that the prettiest little thing? Okay, and she gets them from Petticoat Junction? Is that
Petticoat Junction is where we get our petticoats.
who knew? Okay, and so tell me about your competition group.
Oh gosh, they have competed regionally and nationally. I don't have in my head a list of all the awards they've won, but it's a great many.
Yeah, and the one thing I really appreciated was that it's for any age.
The entire group is, yeah, and anyone who can keep up with the competition team is welcome to try out.
Well, wonderful. So now your competition team you're going to bring on right now. They're right here.
Right here, they're going to do a song called No Excuses.
No excuses. And when they compete, they go to wherever it is and
Yep. Okay. Yep. Sometimes in New England, sometimes in the Midwest.
it's amazing. I'm learning all about cloggers. Oh, thank you. Where's Ralph? Ralph, thanks for telling me about this. Okay, we're going to let the competition group take over.
What you sipping on that got you talking crazy? Looking at me sideways, always coming at me. Why you acting hard when you just a baby? Boy, I keep it real with you, but you tryna play me. Have you lost your mind? Open up your eyes. You must have confused me, yeah. You must have confused me, well. There ain't no excuses, there. Your mama raised you better than that. What you sipping on that got you talking crazy? Looking at me sideways, always coming at me. Why you acting like you never met a lady? I don't disrespect you, don't you disrespect me. Have you lost your mind? Open up your eyes. You must have confused me, yeah. You must have confused me, well. There ain't no excuses, there. Your mama raised you better than that. Get it. Your mama raised you better than that. Your mama raised you better than that. Have you lost your mind? Open up your eyes. You must have confused me, yeah. You must have confused me, well. There ain't no excuses, there. Your mama raised you better than that. You must have confused me, yeah. Your mama raised you better than that. There ain't no excuses, there. Your mama raised you better than that.
Okay, thank you so much. You guys are great. Who does the choreography?
Well, we have a few different directors who are in charge of the competition team.
Okay, good. And you're enjoying doing this?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I guess so. Look at that enthusiasm when they did. And how about you? How long you been doing it?
Maybe for about, I don't know, 1 or 2 years.
She's pretty good. And you?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. What amazing, amazing. So you're going to be doing another one. Let me go over here just to talk right now. And what's your next number?
Our next one is Rompin' Stompin'.
Okay. I have to say, the choreography is amazing.
Yeah, some of it is national choreography and some of it is done by our own instructors.
Okay, good. Well, I'll let you guys get together and do your last number. Woohoo!
When I saw you from across the room, I thought, ooh, my, you're way too cool. Just one look and I knew I had to make you mine. A little nervous, taking a chance, but I sashayed over asking you to dance. I smiled, a chuckle, you took my hand. It's gonna be a night to remember, oh man. It's romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Moving across the floor, screaming out for more. You know you make me lose my mind. We're just having fun, so don't come undone. Let's make those bubbles shine. But it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Dancing all night, just me and you. A two-step line dance, a swing or two. Before we knew the music had stopped. Time to go, I'm about to drop. I can't remember when I felt this way. I'm all tuckered out, but that's okay. Having so much fun, there's no doubt. I'll be back tomorrow to scream and shout. About romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Moving across the floor, screaming out for more. You know you make me lose my mind. We're just having fun, so don't come undone. Let's make those bubbles shine. But it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Oh yeah. Well, it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Yeah, it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Well, it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Moving across the floor, screaming out for more. You know you make me lose my mind. We're just having fun, so don't come undone. Let's make those bubbles shine. Well, it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time. Yeah, it's a romping, stomping, get down, jumping, honky tonkin', good time.
Let's hear a big hand for the cloggers. Thank you all for being here today. We love you. We're going to take a quick break. Our break has to do with the Veterans Day coming up next week, and it's an interview with Ed Block. He passed away in 2016, and we need to keep these records, verbal and oral records, as best we can for the veterans and for Armistice Day and Veterans Day coming up. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're going to see Reggie Harris and Margie Rosencrantz on our stage. Stay tuned.
You know, we went first to visit her, but all these different people and everybody in the labor movement that, you know, I deliberately went after all the people, my connections in the labor movement, and a lot of different people have heard the story now.
What's the key message?
The key message is the United States committed atrocities. Saw to it that although the 8th Route Army beat the Japanese army, which had beaten the Chinese army before and the Russian army before, 1905, with no planes, no heavy-duty weapons, only determination on the part of the Chinese people. And then, because China recognized that it was the Eighth Route Army that had won, Chiang set up a deal with, I think, President Roosevelt, maybe Truman, to get rid of to get rid of
And here we are back again. Ed Block was an interesting guy. He went back to China to apologize for some of the actions that some of the troops took. So that was kind of an interesting catharsis for him. But right now I have Margie Rosenkrantz next to me. She is the director of the A-Step, and you bring such great talent. And look right here, we have Reggie Harris.
Morning.
I've seen you so many times. You're just so good. But anyway, let's talk about what's coming up with the A-Step.
Well, Saturday night we have a kind of gala, reprise of a concert we did back in Albany in, I think it was 25 years ago.
And what was the name of that?
It was called On a Winter's Night.
On a Winter's Night, okay.
Yep.
And I think we have a flyer of that that we can show too as well.
And it was, the original concert was done in conjunction with a former manager of Cafe Lena, so it was a Cafe Lena and an 8-step performance right after Lena
how
died.
wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, and we called it the Step Cafe.
Yeah, we just
She and
put
I
it there.
even designed a logo.
Okay.
And we did it at Page Hall, sold out Page Hall.
Oh, if you sold out Page Hall, you had a big crowd.
We had a big crowd.
We had a big crowd, yeah.
So they're doing a kind of a, like I said, a reprise of the original show.
Right.
And we've got Christine Lavin and John Gorka and Patty Larkin and
Got a good cast.
Cliff Everhart and Cheryl Wheeler
Yeah.
all
yeah.
together. And they do winter love songs. It's not a Christmas show, it's not a holiday show.
It's just a winter
It's
song.
celebrating,
Winter.
yeah, warmth in the middle of winter.
Yeah, we need a little warmth.
Yeah,
Anyway.
don't we though?
And you brought Reggie because Reggie's going to be performing
He's
too.
up next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's up after that on Friday the
22nd.
22nd, which means we avoid the Schenectady Holiday Parade.
Yeah.
We're not doing it on
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
And I'll let you tell her a little bit
Yeah.
about it. It's called Deeper
Tell
Than
us what you're going to be doing because you're performing with someone else as
I'm
well.
performing with Greg Greenway,
Yeah.
who also has been at the A-Step in a number of different
Many
things.
times.
But the show that we're doing is a presentation that we've been doing for the last 4 years together. We're 30-year plus friends. I found out we were born 3 days apart.
Get out.
Indeed. He born in Richmond, Virginia.
Just don't tell me it was the same hospital.
No, well, no. He was born in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And the show is about our friendship and how race and American history has both informed, affected, and helped to bond our friendship.
Yeah.
So he born in Richmond, the cradle of the Confederacy, me born in the North. Working through the boundaries and barriers that all of those things present to us. But
And doesn't music bring out so much? I mean, every time I come to an A-Step, there's always some kind of thing that kind of brings some emotion to me.
Well, one of
It
our
really does.
Yeah, it does.
I'm serious.
One of our icons, Bernice Johnson Reagan, who started Sweet Honey in the Rock, said, "Music changes the air. It creates an opportunity for our brains and our bodies to resonate with each other." So anytime we talk about, joyful things, but anytime we talk about difficult things, music is really key to helping us to sort of work
together.
Yeah.
I think Tommy Sands, who was here recently, mentioned that during a conflict that was going on, and these two groups were not getting along.
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And when they started to sing, they both came together.
He pulled in some of the people working on the peace process, and one of them said, "Tommy Sands is the only man without a standing army who can intimidate me."
Without a
With a
standing
guitar.
So I guess, Reggie, you're going to play something. Let's get a feel for the music and you.
Sure.
Okay, go
Right.
ahead. And what's Reggie going to play? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
I didn't tell her
It's
what I was
always
going
a
to play.
surprise.
It's always a surprise. Okay, Reggie, take it away.
Well, I thought I would do this song, which connects so many people around the world. It's one of the spirituals, and it's one that was used on the Underground Railroad and sung, by people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. But the song really talks about going through difficult times. For people in slavery, it really was about connecting them to the reality of being able to get away. But we all go through the water challenges of life, so the song speaks to them. Who were those children all dressed in red? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the ones that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, who were those children all dressed in white? God's gonna trouble the water. Well, must be the ones getting ready to fly. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, wait in the water. Wait in the water, children. Wait in the water. God's gonna trouble, say wait in the water. Wait, our children, wait in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, who are those children all dressed in blue? Well, they must be the ones that made it through. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, now, who were those children all dressed in black? God's gonna trouble the water. They're never gone back. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, wait in the water. Wait in the water, children. Wait in the water. Gonna trouble, say wait in the water. Wait in the water, children, wait in the water. Well, now, God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the
Woo! That was wonderful. You do a lot. You teach.
I do.
Tell us about where you teach.
Well, I teach at a lot of music camps. I'm part of a Kennedy Center program, Arts and Education. I've been part of that program for over 30 years. And I also do lectures and residencies at universities. I was accepted as a Woodrow Wilson Scholar about 5 years ago.
Wonderful.
Shocked the living daylights out of me. But any place, places like the 8th Step around the country. I'll be going to Ohio and Michigan in the next few days. Any place that I can show how our music and our history and our knowledge of those things has created opportunities for us to create a better world.
And you've done a lot with civil rights as well.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just got off of a bus for 8 days. I was co-leading a civil rights pilgrimage through Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
Oh my God.
And I do that a couple times a year. I went and got myself, I'm the musical director for an organization called the Living Legacy Project. But this year I got myself elected co-chair of the organization. So additional...
Cream rises to the top.
Whatever. I'll remember that in the tough moments. So, involved in a lot of organizations and a lot of activities that, particularly with young people, because...
And we have to keep this alive.
We do.
Because,
yeah.
it's something that... It's amazing to me that I lived during a time where Alabama, Montgomery, and all, it's like an amazing thing that it happened.
And so many of our young people don't know anything about it.
Right.
It's not something that we cover in schools, and doing it through music is particularly engaging. But all of the arts,
Oh, absolutely.
The dancers that were here earlier.
Yeah.
Music, dance, visual arts, it's all important to the way we are, as human beings. and we have to keep those arts alive. So,
Exactly. And of course, Margie is right in there with that, getting the and you don't. I mean, you're doing a lot of different music, but it's mostly folk music and music that feeds the soul. Is the way I look at it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think we get away with a lot because we never let the politics or the message overcome the music.
Right.
And that's kind of first line. You know, you've got to be good at what you do.
Right, exactly. So now we mentioned that Reggie is going to be performing. You're also doing this the winter solstice.
We're doing Solstice. We've also got the
Magpie is going to be, yeah.
Lunasa, the Irish supergroup. is
Oh,
coming
that's right.
With
How did you get the group from Ireland?
She's
I
good.
invited them.
Who knew?
Who knew?
She works hard.
Yeah, we try to treat our performers really well. I have this idea that somebody steps out of the car to come into sound check, and you create this little bubble so that they can come in and they can do what they do without having to deal with a lot of other
Right.
extraneous
It makes a difference.
complications.
It really does.
Well,
And this is such a nice performance area.
Oh,
isn't
this
it?
is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's both intimate.
I liked it better than the underground.
yeah,
I mean,
do
because
too.
we used to do in the underground too, but I love
Yeah.
this up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is a great space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what else do you have coming up after?
After, let's see, Lunasa, and then the and then Solstice, and then we start the new year with a group that's new to us called Gangsta Grass.
Yeah, what is that? Because you got a
They're
little of
so
everything in
exciting.
there, don't you?
They're so exciting. It's rap and bluegrass, and it's
Rap
really
and bluegrass,
dynamic.
really? I mean,
It can make a believer out of you. I'm telling you. It's really awesome, and they were a big hit at Gray Fox. At the
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Gray
Oh, yeah.
Fox this
Okay,
summer.
wonderful.
So I announced it at this concert we did up in the Adirondacks this summer, and half the audience stood
Knew
up
who
and
they
said,
were.
"Oh, right." So.
well,
you
it's
know.
interesting because I happen to like country music. I always have, but and a couple of them now they're doing a little rap in them, and it's like, well, I mean, it's going everywhere.
Yeah,
And of course,
yeah.
we came off of Hamilton, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean-
I got snuck in. I shouldn't say that on the air, but I did.
I thought it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal thing, but there
It's a
again, they
new
used
art
a little.
form.
It's a new art form.
It is.
And somebody says to me, "Oh, I don't know," and I go, "Well, think of it as poetry to music."
Well, that's literally what it is.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, lyrics are also, but still, this is a little different. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, the spoken word has always had a critical relationship to music, and people think about rap or as being a new art form, but it really has been around for a long time.
Really? Okay.
Well, yeah. In the African American community in 30s and 40s, they were already doing it. But,
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, but humans, we have in one way, sense, or form used the spoken word format in a lot of different ways
Yeah.
over the course of history.
They got what they call it a poetry jam or something.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they
Oh
did
yeah,
it.
the jams.
Yeah.
Can you tell her something about Hickory Hill?
Oh yeah. Well,
Please.
part of the presentation that I do with Greg Greenway talks about our beginnings, and about 8 years ago, I had the opportunity to walk on the land of the plantation where my family was in slavery.
Oh no.
And Greg actually lives 5 miles from that place now. But
What a
on that
connection.
day, I got to not only walk on the land, but also walk with a member of the Wickham family, which was the family that owned me, or owned my family, my ancestors. And Williams Carter Wickham, who was the slave master, had 5 children by one of his slaves. So we are actually cousins. So Lisa Wickham and I took a walk that day, and I wrote a song about it. So that song is part of the presentation.
What a beautiful story.
It's
that
an
is.
it's an extraordinary story.
Because
And-
it could have gone either way,
Well,
but
yeah.
it went in a very positive way.
Well, it continues to go in a positive
Yeah,
way because I just spent, I mentioned that trip that I was in Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. 2 of my Wickham residents were on the bus.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Oh really?
See, I mean, you never know where it's
Wow.
going to go. See what music does.
Yeah, well,
Yay.
you don't have to sell me.
No, I know.
So how many generations down, and you're meeting face to face?
We're 5
with-
generations back
Whoa.
and
face to
embracing each other as
Yeah.
family, embracing each other as cousins across the boundaries of
Yeah,
slavery and
yeah.
race. So it's been an extraordinary conversation. And Greg, as a result of our friendship, also began to explore his background. So he wrote a song in in the show.
So this is going to be in the show that's coming up
It will be.
on November the
Right here.
22nd.
22nd.
Right here where we are right now. I want to thank you both for being here and
for having me.
sharing that story. That was wonderful. I mean, it's
Thank you for having us
yeah.
on.
Oh, it's always a
Really.
delight to have you guys on. Really, it is.
Yeah.
Dude,
We love you,
You
Ann.
touch my soul. You really do. You guys do all the time. All the time. I sometimes leave here crying because I'm so emotional by it. No, it's true. So anyway.
Well, you
Enough of
remember,
that.
don't forget.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
really-
Good. Yeah, join the A Step. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to an athlete. He's a pro with basketball. He's also an author. He gives workshops. Amazing gentleman. He was on before, and I invited him back again because I says, you got to come on and talk about it. So stay tuned.
Backed off of that war.
That's
And
right.
they had to fight the bloody war
And-
themselves.
You know, the fact of our I don't know if I ever told you this. I got letters from, of course, all mail was censored. And I was the censor for my platoon, for example. Nobody was supposed to know what we were doing in China. But it was impossible to control that. And did you like it?
Delicious.
You look as though you're lying.
No, it's good. Okay, tell me this.
I met Willie Dean when he came on the show because he was entered into the Athletic Hall of Fame for Schenectady schools. And I was impressed with him on a number of levels. But one is that he's a pro, athlete, but he's also now a writer of children's stories.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Tell me
ma'am.
about it.
Actually, I have a copy for you.
Oh,
but
thank you, thank you, thank
personalized,
you,
So I want
thank
to make
you.
sure I got that to you.
Oh,
But,
thank you. What a sweetheart.
Well, the stories came about from just my daughter requesting them as a child. So every night before bed, I would just tell her these bedtime stories. And actually,
Did you make them up as you went along?
Yes, I did. But actually, once she started to request the same book, well, the same story over and over again, I turned it into the book. So this is actually one of the stories that I told her, and it eventually, was published.
Yeah. And how old is your daughter?
Well, I have two daughters.
Okay.
One is 8 years old, and one is 4.
So you got lots of stories inside you, don't you?
Well, I just draw back on my experiences from all my journeys in traveling throughout Europe and my professional career, just as well as the cultural experiences that I've been able to gain through living and being immersed in all these different.
Yeah. Now
different
you
countries.
played for Purdue, right?
Yes, I graduated from Purdue in 2003. Played for Coach Gene Cady, who's very legendary in Indiana basketball, and from there I went on to play throughout Europe professionally.
What was that like? Because that is very broadening to be in another
Right.
environment. It's not like we're used to where we are, but when you go to another country, it's different.
Well,
People are the same, but it's different.
Well, yes, the cultures are definitely different. The language is different. The way things are done versus communist. So
What countries did you go to?
Well, I'll give you an example. When I first arrived in Russia, I landed in Vladivostok, was the city that I was living in. It's close to China.
Yeah.
And in Japan, so it's on the opposite side of
Yeah,
Moscow and
it's over there.
St. Petersburg. but I was one of 2 African Americans in a city of 40,000.
Chinese
No,
or
well,
Asians.
Well, it
Well,
was
Russians
40,000
and-
40,000
yeah.
Russians, and I was one of two African Americans.
So you were a curiosity? Were you a curiosity?
I was like an alien who just landed on the turf. But people.
People are people.
Right, and there were some great people there that embraced me and who were willing to, embrace new cultures. And then there's some people who just unknowingly and just out of fear of just not being able
They
to.
don't know.
Right.
They can't relate. They can't
Exactly.
relate.
Right.
It's like
Right.
like you mentioned, an alien comes down, you don't know, well, what am I going to say the wrong thing or what? You
Right.
know, so you kind of.
Not to mention the
But
language.
you're not an alien.
Not to mention the language barrier at the time, because when I first arrived there, I wasn't able to communicate.
Did you learn a little Russian?
Yes, I did. I was able to pick up the language throughout the course of my career there, because I spent an extensive amount of time in former Soviet
Okay.
countries.
Yeah.
So.
The Soviet bloc, I guess they used to call it. You know, did
Right,
you ever go to
right.
China?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had a chance to walk on the Berlin, climb the Great Wall.
The Great Wall.
the
Yeah,
Great
I've done
Wall,
that. And those steps are big,
Oh
aren't they?
yes, they are.
Aren't they big? I should have worn my T-shirt. I climbed the Great Wall. I was shocked at this.
Oh.
I mean, it isn't like you just go up these little steps. They're like all
No,
different sizes.
and you know how far it extends, and just to
Thousands of
think how how people put those up back
I
when
can't
they,
even.
when they
I
did.
can't even imagine it. I
Right,
can't.
right.
I when I was standing on it, it was like somebody built this years ago. I mean, years and years and years and years ago. It's
Right,
not like
right.
last year, you know. And but it
Right,
still
right.
stands.
Yeah.
So you write a book now. You're going to be
Yes.
giving some workshops,
Yes.
and you're going to do story time.
So I've gone to at least 25 different high schools, elementary schools, and middle schools throughout the Capital District last
Well,
year.
you're an icon to begin with, so.
So just in hopes of inspiring kids not only to travel and venture out into to different cultures in different countries, but also I want to encourage kids to read. And this is one of the main.
Reading is so important.
Right,
It
right.
really is. And
Well, you need it for everything.
but see, I'm one of those people who loves to touch a book.
Right.
Now we're getting away from that, and I've always said if I was going to go into any medical profession, it was going to be orthopedic, or the bones, because kids are using their thumbs. They're going to be patients,
Right,
because I mean they're using repetitive motion. But a book you can hold, you can turn the page.
Right.
You can do.
Not to mention the toll that the lights from these smart devices is,
Oh, yeah,
is
the
going to
blue
take.
light. They call it the blue light,
Right, the
even
blue
though it's
light
not
takes
blue, yeah.
on not only the brain but also on the eyes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the one thing I like about, I had a book on one of these little devices, and it was okay. But I'm one of these, whoops, I just dropped my mic. But I'm one of these people that likes to go back and look at, what character was that,
Right,
then,
right.
but I can find it easier in a book than I can flipping through these thingies.
Right, because in my books I always write in them and highlight
Yeah,
things.
exactly, yeah.
Especially if it's something I know I'll want to go back to.
Yeah, so where can they get this book?
Well, it's available on Amazon.
Amazon,
and
okay.
So it probably.
And you're going to be at the Northshire Bookstore in
February.
In
so
February.
February 22nd, I'll be
Okay.
at Northshire Bookstore in Saratoga, and I'll be doing a workshop there.
Yeah.
I
I hope you get into the open door down here in
Well,
Schenectady.
no, I did.
You did?
Actually,
Okay, you did
the open door was amazing because they were the first who they hosted my first book signing there.
Oh, wonderful.
So special thanks to Open Door because everyone there is
They're
been
really
amazing.
wonderful people too.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
So if you'd like it, this would make a great Christmas present for
Yes,
kids.
yes, and I have another one coming out after the new year.
Okay.
And
your kids
so-
are your inspiration.
Yes, they have been for the majority of the books that I've written, and the plan is to just put one out every year.
Yeah.
So I have about 20 more to put out that I've
Look
written.
at you, 20. I mean, here you are. That's
So-
wonderful. I'm so happy that you found kind of a little niche that you can share. And maybe some of your books will be travel books, talking about taking a trip to someplace. you
Right.
know.
So well, in some books that you will see come out in the near future, Sarah does make some travels to other countries.
Okay,
So-
good. See, and that's we have to broaden, and travel is broadening. We just had our one of our team here that just got back from France. I mean, it's amazing. I've been to China and a number of other countries, Europe. It certainly is broadening.
Yes,
it
it is.
makes you more. I don't want to say tolerant because that's not the word I want. I want understanding is the
Yes,
word.
yes.
Understanding of other cultures. That they may do things a little bit different, but you know, we're all the same. We all
Right,
love our
right.
families. We all care about our kids. We all read them stories,
Yes.
hopefully. You know? So what you're doing is really inspirational, and I hope that you're able to get kids from the high school level on up to think about maybe telling their stories and to their little brothers and cousins or whatever it is, but to keep stories alive.
Yes,
And
yeah.
keep these stories going.
Because you know, stories live on after you pass.
After you're gone, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
here.
for sharing your
It's
platform.
such a pleasure to have you on the
Always.
show. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to find out about now what is this? The transit of Mercury. Stay tuned.
To your story, person to person up front.
Well, I'm sure that on their part, they were very carefully monitored what they could say or listen approvingly to or whatever. It was all very, very carefully limited. If you had been there when we were, I can't remember the name of the province, and these were party people from the province. They said, "You are forgiven." That was the focus. Because they knew it. I mean, it wasn't new to them, for heaven's sake. Ed Block had been...
Okay, and here we are, and I have to admit, I don't know a whole lot about the transit of Mercury. I know what a transit is, and I know what Mercury is. Where's Mercury going?
That's a great question. So next week on Veterans Day, the morning, Mercury is going to transit in front of the sun. So from our perspective on Earth, if we look at the sun, we can actually watch Mercury go in front of the sun.
We will see that.
Yep, it'll look like a little black dot because the side of
And
Mercury
we've got
that's lit
pictures.
up.
Let's see some of those pictures. Maybe we can talk about them when Jan brings them up. I'm not sure which one she's going to bring up first, but I think it does show this. There it is. Okay, now.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, it'll look like that. If you have a device that allows you to look at the sun safely, you'll see the orange or yellow ball, and then you'll see a small black dot, which is Mercury right there in the middle. And over about the course of 5 hours, it'll move across the sun.
Amazing.
It's really, really cool to see, and we don't get to see it very often. We're not going to see it again here until 2049.
I know. And so it just has to do with, so Mercury is just going to come and then it's got to do its big loop, and then
Right. It's because Mercury is closer to the sun than we are, so when things coincidentally line up just right, it'll look like it's crossing in front of the sun for us.
I see. Okay. And how can they see this? Now you said you have to look at the sun.
Yeah,
Now we
which
know
of
that you
course is-
can't do
yeah,
that.
normally you don't want to look at the sun. So for the transit of Mercury, you really need to go somewhere where there's a telescope and safe solar equipment, because with those glasses that we use during the eclipse, Mercury is going to be too small for you to actually see it. You need to magnify it.
So you can't use those.
So I mean, you can always look at the sun with those glasses, but you won't see Mercury in this case. So you really need to find somewhere with a telescope that'll let you zoom in and actually see it.
And so when you look through the telescope, that has all the filters so that you're not going to be...
it should, right? If your eyes hurt, you're definitely doing it wrong. So make sure you don't burn your eyes.
So they can go to Siena.
They can, yes. So the Dudley Observatory will be at Siena, and we'll have some small telescopes down on the ground near the, I think the baseball field.
Okay.
And we'll be looking at the sun. We'll have all the appropriate filters on, and people will be able to come check it out.
Now there's only a certain amount of time that could happen, because it looks to me that it's from 7:30 in the morning to 1.
Yep, at 7:30 in the morning is when the transit starts, and then 1 o'clock is when Mercury finishes crossing in front. So any time during that time frame you can come, and of course you don't have to stay there the whole time. You can just come for a few minutes, take a look, and go on with your day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who discovered this? I mean, who was looking at the sun and said, "Oh, I think that's Mercury going across there"?
Well, so we could go back to 16, 1700s when we were first pointing telescopes at the sky, and people were actually
Galileo and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were doing projections of the sun onto the ground, and people started to notice these things. So we're talking, hundreds of years ago we've known about this, and they actually used these transits in the 1700s to calculate the distance between the Earth and the Sun.
Really?
Yeah, you can
Had
do the
no
geometry
idea.
and
So
math
1700s they were
to figure
doing
it out.
Now, let's go back a little bit further. The Mayans were supposed to be pretty good with astronomy.
Right. Yeah, they didn't have any sort of magnifying devices, but they were aligning the sun and using the sun and the moon as a calendar and all of that kind of stuff, so they could predict the solstices and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I just love astronomy.
It's so much fun, and there's always something to talk about. Every month I'm here, and I'm like, there's something new to look at in the sky.
I know, and we always fight. What's happened with Pluto?
Pluto is still not a planet, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, poor Pluto.
I know.
I heard that, well, maybe they were going to make it a planet again, and then they weren't. It's like, well,
they're still arguing at NASA,
what
which
makes
way they
a
should
planet?
go. Well, so to be a planet, you basically have to go around the sun and you have to clear the area around you, meaning you have to be big enough to kind of get rid of all of the dust and other rocks that would be in your way. And Pluto is too small.
It's gaseous too, isn't it?
Yeah, so you could be a gas or a rock, it doesn't matter. You just have to be big enough to kind of gather up that material and clear an empty path around the sun. But Pluto's too small. Pluto doesn't do that, and it's at the edge of our solar system with another ring of rocks.
So we're not too concerned about it.
So no, I mean, it's still there and it's fascinating to study.
You think it could
what we call
pulled
it
in
really
by a
matter.
black hole or anything?
Oh no, I think we're plenty far away from any black holes. I don't think we have to worry about that anytime soon.
Okay, good. But so and you've made a move. You were at my side, but now you're over at Siena now.
Yep.
And they have more telescopes as well.
They do. They just opened the Brea Observatory last year. It's a 27.5-inch research and outreach telescope that they'll be letting people look through.
So you have a lot more to work with there as well.
Yeah, we have a lot more equipment.
And RPI has an observatory too, don't they?
They do. They have a 16-inch telescope as well that's open on Saturdays.
Yeah. This is amazing because I think that the idea of the looking out. I mean, I guess the only thing we do is go down into the water, right?
Sure.
And I don't know how deep we've gone. Have we ever gotten to the bottom of the oceans? We must have.
In certain places, I think so.
Yeah, where we get those pictures of those translucent little creatures and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think it's hard to get to the depths, the true depths of the ocean.
Well, it'll be all plastic anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. But if you want to at least take a look at what's happening, the transit of Mercury would be a great way. Now, could you bring your kids? I mean, is this something?
Definitely. Yeah. So we're going to have telescopes that everybody can look through. It'll be nice and safe, and it'll be a lot of fun. And you're not going to see it again, for 20, 30 years. So make sure you get here to see it.
Yeah. So what is the next big event that's coming up? Halley's Comet? No.
Well, we got a lot of years before
we got a
Halley's
ways.
Comet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this month there's a bunch of meteor showers. Right now, the southern Taurids are going on. The Leonids are coming up. Saturn and Mars is in the sky. So there's a lot of, small things to look at now.
Yeah. Do they have classes? I mean, is this something that you could take a class on, what am I looking at? The Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, the North Star, where is it?
Right. So a lot of the local colleges have introductory astronomy classes that cover that, and then the planetarium at my side is a great place to go. That's a nice, quick 45-minute introduction of what's
to
in
the sky. Yeah, that gives you a great idea. Well, I'm really happy that we've got Mercury under our belt here, sort of, to figure out how to do that. And if you want to learn, and this is a free event, right?
Yes,
it's
totally
free event. Go over to Siena, and it's over by the baseball field, did you say? And you're going to have a number of telescopes there.
Yep, multiple telescopes all the way 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. As long as it's clear, we got to keep those clouds away.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
I know the weather is Fingers crossed that it stays clear.
Well, that's going to be on
Monday morning.
Monday the 11th, which is a holiday.
Exactly. So all the kids will be off from school. So grab the kids, bring them.
Grab the kids, come on over and check out the transit of Mercury. Amazing! It's going to go right across the sun.
You got it.
There you go. Thanks so much, Valerie.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure to have you on this show.
Here.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to find out about getting those meals to people who might need a meal for Thanksgiving. Stay tuned.
And the Chinese who supported the Japanese.
Amazing. Well, now, in 2013, like right now, what's your message to, for example, the U.S. State Department or the Fletcher School of International Relations? What's your message?
seek out ways in which we can do the best possible job in setting up a relationship, positive relationship, and also take the lead in the world.
Tell me this, how does it relate in your mind to our current involvement in Afghanistan?
Well, that's all ancient history. I mean, we know that that one group of Afghanis who were fighting the Russians were armed by the United States, Taliban, for example. So there's plenty of dirty women, and originally the thing was to, because the Communist Party of
Well, you're watching Schenectady, Capital Region Today, and right now our segment is going to be on WOOC FM, and we're going to be talking with Peter Jones. Peter Jones is a co-chair of Concern for the Hungry Incorporated. It's an organization, 501c3, and that they get together food and they get it out to the people. So, Peter, tell us what's going on for Thanksgiving.
Well, we had last weekend, the last weekend in October, so the last week, we signed up about 2,100 families.
2,100 families, wow.
We took out the duplicates, so it's now down to about 2,068.
How would you get duplicates?
Because
they sign up through different places?
Agencies sign them up, and the people come down not
And
knowing that the
okay.
agency has signed them up. So we've taken out the duplicates because our goal is to get a basket to every family that needs it. And so we did that, but the agencies were allowed to send us referrals up until last Saturday. And we have a record number of 35 agencies referring people to us.
Wow.
So usually it's around 28. So we had 7 more this year come on board. And we are now collecting food. We have food drives going on. I looked this morning, we have 35 food drives going on.
And we've collected some here today.
And you've collected, and they don't know about you, so that's 36.
Yeah.
And but they're going on in the schools. They're going on at Ellis and at Baptist Retirement Center and at Pathways and Kingsway. So all of these places are collecting food, which will be brought to us on the 21st. And on the 22nd, we will be sorting that food. The school system is basically assigned certain things. We have found that this year, usually we get a lot of food from the regional food bank. A lot of it is free stuff. And so we get that.
Because they get fresh food as well, if
Well,
you have it,
yeah.
like potatoes and things like that.
Well, let me get to that in a second. So we're getting all this food on the 21st. The 22nd, the school that is brought in from the hospitals and places like that is sorted into food that goes in the basket and food that goes to the pantries. Schoharie Valley Farms in Schoharie is donating all of the fresh potatoes to us. So everything that we need.
Oh, wonderful.
We put in fresh potatoes, fresh carrots, fresh onions, and apples. Tomorrow we are picking apples at Riverview Orchards in Rexford. So we will be trying to get as many apples as we can from them. Schoharie Valley Farm also has apples, also has onions, and also has carrots that they are planning to sell us at a reasonable amount of money.
Oh, that's wonderful. Where do you get your turkeys?
The turkeys, as far as I know, they're coming from Walmart.
Okay.
A few years ago, Walmart offered us a price we couldn't refuse and saved us about $20,000 on turkeys.
So you buy those?
Yeah, we do get some donated, but for the most part, I would say we probably buy about 2,300 turkeys.
Yeah.
So, well, it'll
That's
be
a lot
less
of turkey.
this year. It'll probably
so how
be,
do you raise your money?
we're an a 12-month-a-year organization. In September, we sent out our annual newsletter with, of course, the donation envelope, and a lot of the money comes from donations from people who have supported us forever. We have a great grant writer, Larry Lewis, who gets a lot of grants for us, so we probably get about $20,000 in grants. And the person who took over for me and takes care of the food for us basically is able to find a lot of deals, and so therefore our food last year cost about $27,000.
Okay, so that's a lot of, I mean, you're talking, what you said, 2,800 families?
It's 2,068 right now.
Oh, 2,068.
So it'll probably be up around 2,150 or somewhere in there.
That's a lot of meals, and I have worked on this, on the food drive. It's really gratifying, and it's kind of fun to do because it's sorted, and then the food goes into baskets, and you go through and you're putting this in and this in and this in. It's a way of becoming part of the community, I think, in doing that. So you have the turkeys, you have the names of the people. How do you get the food to the people?
Well, what will happen, one thing I want to mention is this is our 40th year.
Your 40th
We started in 1979. And we get the food to the people on Sunday, November 24th. Anybody who is picking up their own basket will come to William Keene Elementary School and go through a process and drive their car around to the back if they have one. We put the stuff in their car and they drive away.
Okay.
If they don't have a car, then they come in and we have what we call the walker station, where we allow them to, they might have one of those carts,
little wagon or
and they throw all the food in there and give us the box back.
Yeah, okay.
On Monday the 25th, the deliveries are made to the disabled. So we have well over 100 deliveries. We're hoping that our person who handles those are coming back. And then in the afternoon, the agencies come to pick up their baskets, as well as the food pantries of Schenectady County come and get any extra food we have.
We're talking with Peter Jones. He's the co-chairperson of Concern for the Hungry food Thanksgiving dinners, but they operate all year long. And they do a great job of creating meals for Thanksgiving and working very closely with the regional food bank as well.
Correct.
Putting this all together, when do you start?
Well, technically, we start with signups, which were the weekend before Halloween. And then, a lot of planning happens before that, but the actual drive starts with that. And then the 16th, the Boy Scouts will be picking up the food from people throughout the capital, throughout Schenectady and maybe even beyond, and bringing that to us. We will sort that out, and then Keene Elementary lets us store that for the 5 days until Wednesday. On Wednesday, we get together and we take flat boxes and tape them and make them into boxes.
It's a big production. It's a big production. You're listening to us on WOOC FM, and this is the Hudson Mohawk Magazine. We're very glad to be on the show with them each week. And we are filming this. Our show is filmed at the Addy Theater in Proctor. Open Stage Media is our conduit to get it there. I want to tell you who's coming up next week. Next week, we have the blacksmith and artist and author coming on, Brian Salisbury. We also have Life Made Easier coming on to talk about their big craft event. Folklore Society is celebrating their 75th anniversary. The Rep is doing A Wonderful Life live from WVL Radio Theater. Should be a great show, and the Schenectady County historian will be on. He's also an author, talking about the socialist victory in Schenectady. And Celebration of the Story Circle will be on as well. I want to thank you again, Peter Jones, for being here on the show. The important thing is that you need support, you need people to make the donations, and everything that is donated is $1 less you have to spend.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate our donors. We have some that support us year-round and some that support us in the fall, and then after we send out the thank you note, they support us again. So that's always
really
nice.
great, and I applaud you for what you do. There's so much of a need. The saddest part is that there is a need.
Right.
But
Well, our numbers are actually down this year, so I'm hoping that we're starting to alleviate
yeah,
hunger.
I hope so too.
We didn't want to be around 40 years.
No, I know you didn't. But you're here, and we love you.
Thank you.
Okay, Peter Jones, co-chair of Concern for the Hungry. Thanks for watching.